All right, good morning, everybody. It is Saturday, May 24th, about 7:23 Eastern Time. I just wanted to, it's been such a great morning. I wanted to go ahead and get a live broadcast going here from the kayak. First thing I wanted to show you is this little island of mangroves with all of the birds. So those are all water birds up there in the trees. You see some egrets, some pelicans for sure. Might have a couple other ones up there, but what's cool about water birds, for the most part, they are all roosting birds, meaning they don't have like a big nest. They roost up in the trees, and it's pretty cool to see all the birds. They come in here mainly at the evening time. As soon as the sun's coming up, as you can see, the sun's coming up behind me there, and it's they'll take off for most of the day and just hang out, trying to catch some food. But a couple of brown pelicans there, just hanging out. Those are some mature brown pelicans sitting there on the east coast of the United States. Our main pelican is the brown pelican. And a lot of people say, oh, it's because it's got a brown head. That's right, the whole body's brown. And you'll see a lot of brown pelicans, though, with a white head and a white neck, and that's mainly because, it is because they're juvenile pelicans. So if you ever see a brown pelican with a white head and a white neck and so forth, it's because they are under 3 years of age. They're juveniles. A lot of times you'll see the more mature pelicans hanging out where the young ones are at, because they'll wait for the young ones to get the food and then go steal it. In any case, so this morning I launched over at Blackburn Point Swing Bridge, and that is up on the north side of Key. And for those of you who do not know, Key, Florida is located about an hour and 15 or hour and 20 minutes south of Tampa, just south of Sarasota, just south of Siesta Key, actually. Siesta Key and Key run into one another. Though you can't actually get from one key to the other via the sand. You have to get out to the road and take the road to get from one key to the other. Some beautiful homes on Key. This is a lot of celebrities and athletes and live out here. Probably our most famous is Stephen King. He has his winter house down here. We're not looking at it right now. That'd be very convenient if I said it and we just happened to be looking at his house, but we're not. There's just some homes. You can see some of these homes. It's crazy because they're completely locked up. Hurricane shutters are down and so forth. It's because they only probably live here in the wintertime, then they go someplace else in the summer. Right across the street from these homes is the Gulf and the beaches and so forth. These homes really all took a massive hit during Hurricanes Helene and Milton, and the roads took a serious beating, but they all got cleared up pretty quickly. We're gonna see a cool house up here you don't see much of around here. It's there's two homes actually, but one is about to fall into the water, but the other one is in pretty good shape. They're built on stilts, and we don't see that a lot here because of the weather is so violent. A lot of those homes will just go right into the water if they're not built correctly. And we'll see that here in just a minute. We're on a newer Hobie ultralight kayak this morning, inflatable, super fun. And if you've been following my posts and so forth a while, you know that I've had Hobie cats for a long time. All sorts of different models. The ultralight has been my favorite because it's so light. You don't have to worry about dragging it from your truck to the launch site. All right, so here we're gonna get a good view of the home that's on the stilts. This is a beautiful home. They've done an amazing job with this guy. You can see those big concrete posts going into the seabed. Super cool. Be nice just to sit out there. That sun in the morning though has got to be, you can see all the shades they've got. If you forgot to close your shades at nighttime, you'd be in big trouble. The architecture out here is very unique. Every home is just completely different from the next one, which is also a really cool part of Key. A lot of places you go and homes are exactly the same. Heck, the neighborhood I live in, homes are exactly the same other than the paint colors. It gets a little boring, but homes here, they have different neighborhoods on Key. They have like some homes that were influenced by the Northeast, some homes that were influenced by the Deep South here in the United States. It's pretty awesome. All right, so here we're gonna see a home that was on stilts, but it did not survive. And after the hurricane, I could tell it started to sink. And then over the last couple of months, it's just been going down further and further. To be honest with you, for the last 8 years, it looked like it was gonna fall into the water any day. But the thing is, there's a cormorant sitting up there too, on top of the boat lift. Boat lift still looks good. But the home, it's seen better days. That was definitely an OG home out here. It's sad though, because they could never build anything like that again. There's just no way they'd be able to get permits and so forth to do that. I'm gonna turn away from the key because you can see straight ahead's a bunch of mangroves. And there's a cut through, but the tide is low right now, even though it's coming in. I don't know if I have enough water to get through, so I'm gonna go back out to the intercoastal. And there's water everywhere here, absolutely everywhere. That's the cool part about living here. The problem is the water's not deep everywhere. Tourists make that mistake. Heck, everyone makes that mistake from time to time. If anyone tells you they've never run aground with their boat or whatever, they are absolutely lying to you, because there's no escaping the shallow waters around here. Sometimes it's just as easy with our boat to be able to just push it off or just gently glide it off, but a lot of times people have to get their sea tow or whomever to pull themselves off of the sandbars. This weekend's gonna be probably a busy weekend for sea tow and the other water towing companies, since it is a holiday weekend. You get a lot of folks out here that have a nice boat, but they probably only go boating a couple of times a year. It's like those folks that only go to church on the big holidays, Easter, Christmas. They kind of forget they forget where the sandbars are and how to drive around the intercoastal. So let me tell you a little bit more about this new Hobie. The newer Hobie, I should say. The difference between the old and the new, and now you really can't see it, but right in the front, you see some bubbles coming up. There's a spot for a mast for the Hobie sail kit, or a shade cover. The old ones did not have that, and though I don't have the shade or the sail, it's nice to have that option. I love sailing, and it'll be nice to be able to have that to come out here. Because a place like this, especially in the morning, got a nice breeze, very little boat traffic, as you can see, absolutely no one. It'd be nice to have that sail just to kind of putz around. Hope though, oh, I'm getting in some really shallow water. I don't think you can see it. You might be able to see it. I mean, we're looking at the bottom. The water right now is super clear. We haven't had a lot of rain in Southwest Florida, so the water quality is incredible. I mean, even in like 8 feet of water, you can see the bottom no problem. With the new Hobies, these ultralights, Hobie was able to cut out some cost of their system, their boats. They removed the paddle. So if you wanted to bring a paddle, they no longer supply it when you purchase it, and there's no holders for the paddles, which used to be right there. So you'd have to just go ahead and kind of stick it on your boat someplace. What else did they do? I mean, the quality is still the same. It's a very durable boat. Yeah, I've done tours with these for the past few years. I've had hundreds of people on them, and they're super lightweight, as you know, and they're easy for people to learn how to use pretty quickly. Literally within first 5 minutes, people are almost an expert at navigating a Hobie. You've got the tiller control, the rudder control here, and this can be switched over to your right hand, whichever you feel. But on the right side on my boat, I've got my drink holder, which I really typically just use as my phone holder. Sometimes I'll bring some water out here or something. Oh man, it's a nice day. You got to get out early though, because that sun heats things up pretty quickly. I think today is supposed to be in the upper 80s. Humidity, well, the dew point's actually pretty low. I think the dew point today is only supposed to be about 68, which is not horrible. Last week it was in the mid 70s, and it felt temperature wise like it was a lot warmer out. Because of that, you do a lot more sweating. It's not quite as much fun. All right, what else we got going on? All right, so you can see the channel markers. This is for the intercoastal. The channel markers up ahead. So there's a green one, there's a red one for port and starboard. A simple rule is if you see green, that is the Gulf side. So the Gulf is to my right, and the numbers on there typically they change all over the place. They change in different parts of the intercoastal. One little stretch may make sense with the numbers. Another stretch may not make any sense at all. Important thing to remember is if you have a motorboat, just stay between the markers. Do not come out. Coming up here in this skull, this rowing skull, this is the Sarasota Rowing Club. You can enjoy that. Sarasota Rowing Club has hundreds of members, many of them lifetime members. They started when they were young kids, and even into their adult and senior years are still out here rowing on a weekly basis. You see that out here. Usually on Saturday and Sundays, about this time of the day, there's a lot of people out on those sculling. A little bit warmer, boat traffic's down. Got all the mangroves over here. You can see the root systems of mangroves. If you've joined me before, I probably have told you this story, but mangroves are actually a freshwater plant. There's 3 different types of mangroves here in Florida, a red, white, and a black. All different types of plants, but basically all the same. They're all freshwater plants and so forth. But for the most part, you see mangroves around salt water, which is pretty crazy. In these mangroves, you see some of the leaves, those are yellow. Many of the leaves are turned yellow. And that's not because they're not getting enough sunlight. It's because that is where the plant actually pushes the salt from the water. It will kill the leaf, but it saves the entire plant. It actually can filter out over 90% of the salt that's in the water. And unlike a traditional plant or tree, this particular mangrove here, you can see uses a root system that's not a root ball down at the base of the plant. The roots actually grow from branches and so forth. And what's cool is, there's hundreds of roots growing from the branches to get down to the water source. That's just how that plant has adapted over, over the lifetime of mangroves. There's one of the cut throughs that I would typically take. Oh, I probably could have made that today. I recently saw a crocodile out here. Now, crocodiles typically haven't been this far north, but I had seen them in Naples, which is like another hour and a half south of here. But a couple months ago, I saw a croc, and oh my God. Let me just tell you, you want your heart to skip a beat? Have a crocodile stick its snoot above the water line and look right at you. It was a little scary. Sometimes we'll get alligators in the salt water, but it's mainly after major storms and so forth, and they'll quickly move themselves out of the intercoastal back to some fresh water. So you don't always go like, oh, that's horrible that it's always scary, alligator. But they always thought, okay, well, that alligator will be gone. But the crocodiles, this is their home. They like the salt, so it's a little scary sometimes. Luckily, I've only seen it one time. If I had any wood on this boat, I would knock on wood, but let's hope that today is not the day we see another one. We'll go ahead and look, make sure there's no boat traffic coming. This is all no wake in here as well. This is a big manatee area. Down this channel, we're not going to go down the channel, but down this channel, you go into Oscar Scherer State Park. So if you're going to do a Google map search, check it out, Oscar Scherer State Park. And you'll see exactly where I'm at. Then that channel goes back, and it's a lovely trip down the canals back there. But as you do get into the freshwater in the park, that is where you will see some alligators. As I mentioned, this is a big manatee area. There's a lot of seagrass over here, and you're actually going to see these signs in a minute that say seagrass area. We're going to try to stay just slightly out of that area. Not because I don't want to show you manatees, it's because I don't want to startle them and get flipped over. But certainly if I see one, I'll try to make sure we all see it together. This is another example of where, as a motorboater, you got to be really conscious of where you're at, because basically right here is the intercoastal and it's good depth, but you go like right there and you're in seagrass, just very shallow. And one thing about the intercoastal, it doesn't necessarily go in a straight line. The channel definitely curves. Like this is a really crazy spot, and it curves a couple of times. Up here is an osprey nest. It looks like the ospreys have already gone. Their babies were hatched and they're out of there already. They could have been early. I hear them though. In the background, you might hear a chirping. Those are the high pitch. Those are ospreys calling out to each other. Whew. So that side, as I mentioned, so we just came from the Key side. We come over to this side of the canal, and this is Osprey, Florida. And just next to Osprey is Nokomis Beach, then Venice. All right, everybody, have a great day. I'm gonna go ahead and stop the stream. Hope you have a good one. Take care. Bye-bye.